Good YouTube, Quinn Wade coming to you with that instant basketball analysis on Analysis Playground on YouTube, exclusively on there forever. And we're going to talk about how those Toronto Raptors beat the Detroit Pistons 119 to 108. The Raptors go to 38 and 29 and 19 and 16 at home. The Pistons go to 48, 19 and 22 and 11 on the road. Season series tied 1-1. The Pistons beat them earlier this season, and then the Raptors beat them this game. They play again later this month for the last time of the season, and we'll see who's going to win that one. Toronto won the first quarter 33 to 32. They lost the second quarter 32 to 26. And in the third quarter, the Raptors won 34 to 17. And then the fourth quarter was won 27 to 26 by the Pistons. But it wasn't enough to beat the Raptors, who won the game by 11. Tobias Harris played a good game. He kept finding ways to get open and finding ways to score in the mid-range. He played 33 minutes, had 21 points. He went 9 of 12 from the field and 3 of 3 from 3. So he didn't really miss much, and he took a lot of good shots. And they needed him to continue to move without the basketball to get open, to always have somebody to pass it to. And he did keep the ball moving when he didn't have a good look. He finished with 2 assists, and some wasn't assisted, but it was still good ball movement. He had 5 rebounds, 1 turnover, 1 offensive board, 1 personal foul, and was a -2 and plus minus. Duncan Robinson disappeared in this game, although he played 24 minutes, which is a lot. You didn't really see him do much. He did miss 2 wide open threes, and then he went 1 of 2 from the free throw line, and 1 point is all he had. Then he had 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and a turnover, and he almost fouled out because he had 5 personal fouls in this one. So not a game to remember, not a good game at all from Duncan Robinson. He was a ghost in this one, but he still finished as a +2 and plus minus. And then Jalen Duren, he caught and he finished, or he drived and finished. That's what he's great at. That's what he does. And you got to be happy that he got 20 and 10. He had 20 points, 11 boards, 4 of 7 from the free throw line, 8 of 11 from the field in 37 minutes. He also had 1 turnover, 4 offensive rebounds out of the 11, and 3 personal fouls. And he was a -7 in plus minus. And then Cade Cunningham, he took some tough shots in this game, and he also attacked the basket real well. Even got rewarded by shooting 7 of 8 from the free throw line and getting to the free throw line that many times. He also went 2 of 8 from 3. Of course, you will want Cade to shoot threes. If he's taking those, especially off the dribble, you're going to be happy with him taking those and getting to the basket or coming closer to the basket, even if he's going to kick it out, even if he's going to dump it off. You don't want to see that happen. You want to see him taking threes. You had to pick and choose. He did still finish 12 of 24 from the field, so he still was able to do a good amount of damage to the Toronto Raptors defense. He did have 3 rebounds and 9 assists. He also had 4 turnovers and 2 steals. The 2 steals was the most on the team in this particular game for the Pistons. And then he had 1 offensive board, 4 personal fouls, was a -13 and plus minus. With Sora Thompson, his only makes was drives to the basket that got passed to him when he was cutting. And other than that, he missed the rest of his shots in this game. He went 2 of 8 from the field, 0 of 2 from the free throw line for only 4 points. He did that in 24 minutes. He did have 1 rebound. He did have 3 assists, a turnover, a steal, and a block. He also had 1 offensive rebound, 2 personal fouls. It was a -9 and plus minus. Everybody off the bench ended up scoring, which is always a good thing. Everybody off the bench also had a rebound, which is also a really, really good thing. And they all almost had an assist. The only person that didn't get an assist was Paul Reed. He played 11 minutes, had 4 points, finished near the basket. And then he finished 2 of 4 from the field, so he shot 50%. He did have the most rebounds off the bench with 6. He also had 2 turnovers. That was the most off the bench. He also had 3 blocks. That was the most in the game for the Pistons. He also had 2 offensive rebounds, 2 personal fouls, and was a -4. And plus minus, just being physical and trying to find a way to grab as many boards and finish as well as he can while still trying to protect the paint to the best of his ability. Ronald Holland, he's ended up scoring, but he didn't do it as well as you would like. He missed his only 3. He went 1 of 4 from the field for only 2 points. He usually does better than that. He had 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and no turnovers. He had 2 personal fouls and was a -10. And plus minus Javante Green was able to splash in the three, then make a shot around the basket and get to the free throw line. He went 3 of 3 from the free throw line, 1 of 2 from the three, and then 2 of 3 from the field for 8 points in 15 minutes. He had 3 rebounds, 1 assist, no turnovers, and the steal. 1 offensive rebound, 1 personal foul, and a -4. And plus minus Karis LeVert was able to make 2 threes and also drove to the basket and made a layup real quickly. He went 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 2 of 4 from 3, 3 of 8 from the field for 9 points. That was the most points off the bench. He also played the most minutes off the bench, which was 20. He was able to get 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 1 steal, 1 block, 2 offensive rebounds, 1 personal foul, and was a -8. And plus minus Kevin Herter, 14 minutes, 3 points. He made a 3, missed the other 2. Then he had 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 turnover, and a steal, and a personal foul, and was a -2 and plus minus. And Marcus Sasser, he bombed a 3, but then he finished 1 of 3 from the 3-point line, 1 of 6 from the field. He also had 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 4 personal fouls, and had 1 offensive rebound. Was a +2 and plus minus. I mean, nobody had a dominant, crazy, great, explosive game off the bench. So they did what they needed to do, but didn't do it at a high level tonight. But they still all had decent contributions to the game. And then obviously you want some guys to play better, like Asura Thomas or Duncan Robinson in the starting lineup. But it just didn't happen in this particular game, as you want this one, especially if you can, because Scotty Barnes is one of his rivals, especially because they both in the Eastern Conference. And he won that Rookie of the Year over me. I wanted to prove that I can beat him tonight. That'd be a fun little debate. But other than that, the Toronto Raptors, Brandon Ingram jump shot was on automatic a lot of the time in this game, whether it was from mid-range or from 3. He ended up having 34 points. That was game high. He did shoot 12 of 25, though, from the field, which is good. And he also went 4 of 9 from 3. The pull-up jumpers, the wide-open looks that he was getting, he was very confident in that jump shot, and it worked a lot. And this one, he also went 6 of 8 from the free throw line. He also only had 1 rebound, 3 turnovers, 1 offensive rebound, 2 personal fouls, and plus 14. So outside of scoring, he didn't really give you much or do much, but that's actually what they needed him to do anyway. So it made sense for him to continue to try to do as much as he could on that end of the court. RJ Barrett, 39 minutes. Also, he ended up getting 27 points. The floater was working for him. He made a 3, and then he was able to hit some mid ranges. He went 11 of 17 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. He had 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 turnovers, and a steal. He also had 2 offensive rebounds, 3 personal fouls, and was a +3 and plus minus. He's a tough cover. He's very strong. He's very physical. He knows how to create separation. He can make good open looks too, and he can drive, and have other type of finishes besides just muscling his way to the basket. Scotty Barnes didn't have to score that much in this one, but he scored at a decent amount. He went 5 of 11 from the field. He missed his only 3. Went 4 or 5 from the free throw line for 14 points, but he did get a double-double because he had 10 boards. Somebody had to do the dirty work because he also had 1 steal and 3 blocks, showing you that he can do it all because he also had 8 assists and only 1 turnover, 5 offensive rebounds, 2 personal fouls, and a +22 and plus minus. Really, really good performance. Really, really good game from him. Jakob Poeltl, you wouldn't ever believed it, but he had a 21-18 night for the Toronto Raptors in 36 minutes. He kept finishing fast and quick when he got the basketball, and that's what he can do because he is a legitimate 7-footer with good touch. And he did a good job of crashing the offensive glass all night. 9 rebounds was offensive from him, and some of them did lead to a basket. He also had 5 assists, no turnovers in the block, 3 personal fouls, and was a +2 and plus minus. And quickly, he didn't have the greatest game in this one. He was the only starter to not score in double figures in points because he finished with 6 points in 34 minutes. That's tough to do, especially when you take 12 shots and you only made 1 of them, and the one he made was a 3-pointer. You said, how did he get his other points? He went 3 or 4 from the free throw line. He didn't have 1 rebound. He did push the tempo. He did make quick passes. He did keep the ball moving a lot, so he finished with 7 assists. He also had 1 turnover and 3 steals. The 3 steals were the most on the team in this game. He also had 1 personal foul and was a +14. And plus minus Sandro, 15 minutes, 8 points, The 8 points ended up being the most off the bench. He also had shot 3 of 7 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, and 1 of 2 from the free throw line. He had 5 boards. That was the most off the bench. He had 2 turnovers and 2 steals. That also was tied for the most off the bench with Jacoby Walter. He also had 2 offensive boards, 2 personal fouls. Was a +8 and plus minus. John Limobo, 3 minutes. That was the lowest amount of minutes off the bench for a player. For the Raptors, he had 2 points and made his only shot. He grabbed 3 boards, had no turnovers, had 1 offensive board, 3 personal fouls, was a +2. And plus minus Jamal Shed, 24 minutes. That was the most off the bench. He ended up having 4 points. He went 1 of 4 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. He also had 2 rebounds and 3 assists. The 3 assists was the most off the bench. And then he had a block, no turnover, no turnovers, no personal foul, was a -2 and plus minus. And then Jacoby ended up making a 3 and missing a 3. He finished with 3 points in 12 minutes. He had 2 boards. And then he had 4 personal fouls. That was the most off the bench. It was a -8 and plus minus. So everybody found a way to score, found a way to get a rebound, and they found a way to play a little bit of defense. So you have to be happy with what you got if you're the Raptors off their bench, because it kind of matched what the Pistons bench did. The only difference was the Pistons played more players, and that was really it. Both teams shot 48% from the field, but the Raptors shot 29% from 3, while the Pistons shot 38%. Both of them didn't attempt that many. 28 for the Raptors, only 26 for the Pistons. And then 30 free throws for the Raptors, but they made it at 77%. 24, just 6 less than the Raptors was the Pistons shot, and they shot 67%, which wasn't that great either. And then 48 rebounds for the Raptors, 39 for the Pistons, 25 assists for the Raptors, 23 for the Pistons, 10 turnovers for the Raptors, 13 for the Pistons, 9 steals for the Raptors, 6 for the Pistons. Both teams had 5 blocks, 20 offensive rebounds for the Raptors, 13 for the Pistons, 28 defensive rebounds for the Raptors, 26 for the Pistons, 20 personal fouls for the Raptors, 26 for the Pistons, and just a really, really good game from the Raptors. They did a good job of moving the ball. They did a good job of getting to the basket. They did a good job of getting to the free throw line. Of course, they hit some mid-ranges and some threes and some drives from time to time. But the Pistons have had trouble scoring the ball at a high level, especially from, the free throw line. And I look at it and say they played a good game. They kept finding ways to get good looks. They kept finding a way to execute real well against what the Raptors was trying to do. It's just the Raptors was able to match it, and the Raptors was able to get a lot of offensive opportunities that allowed them to get more possessions, and those small possessions led to a little bit of a distance, especially because you got to look at both teams did a good job of getting out in transition. But I feel like this is a game where the Pistons usually thrive at, but the Raptors was able to do what they do a little bit better than they did in this one. And it can be that way, you know what I mean? Some teams, they just play with what they have, and if they have this type of roster and they have a similar type of roster, you would think that one team would try to lock the other team down or take a lot away. I feel like both teams was able to do what they do best, and both teams was able to play real good against each other. It's just the Raptors just played a little bit better, a little bit more hustle, a little bit more oomph to them, and then they also was physical on defense and on offense, and the Pistons was able to match it and take it, and that's why the game was a little close, but it got a little bit away from the Pistons. They couldn't get the stops they needed, couldn't get the shots to go in when they needed them. That's always been the question. If it ain't Cade or Durant, who they're going to really go to besides Tobias? And sometimes his shot can be going, or sometimes he can disappear, and they had some starters that really didn't step up when it was needed. And you can't really say that too much for the Raptors besides quickly. And, that's why they probably use their bench a little bit more, is because they knew that somebody might have a better night, and we might as well just test the water and see what happens with that. And it ended up being a good night for their bench, but not great. And, it can be a little bit like that too. So I don't really have nothing negative to say about this game besides it was fun and entertaining and a good watch. And I did want to see who win, and it's good to see the Raptors get this one, although the Pistons did play a great game themselves. Comment, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell to get the analysis when it first come out. Y'all stay blessed up. Y'all stay good. Peace. And I'll see y'all later today, hopefully, with more analysis.